I'm at the range today with my newest addition, which is Remington 783 bolt action rifle. This was a gun and scope combo. I got it new for $350 at Dick's Sporting Goods. Comes in 8 different calibers. This one's chambered in .243, and it comes in 3 different barrel lengths: the 20-inch, 22, and 24. This is 20-inch. Comes with a 4-round steel magazine. It'll carry 4+1 with standard loads and 3+1 with Magnum. But where I live, I haven't seen any Magnum 243 loads. And if you get it new in the box, it comes with these stock spacers. You just take the recoil pad off and just throw these on. It has 2 1/4-inch and one of them is a 1/2 inch, so you can adjust the length of the pole by 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, or a full inch. And it comes with the screws, and it also comes with this little cleaning cloth and the Allen key for the scope. Now I just want to say, before you start shooting this, just double check to make sure all the bolts on the scope are tight. I shot it earlier and noticed it was wobbling around a little bit, so I just tightened those up. And I was going to do a penetration test, but the range I go to only allows paper target, so I'm just going to do a little review of the ammo I brought. I have 4 different kinds. First one is 95 grain Hornady SST. It's rated for 3,185 feet per second. I have the Remington Core Locked, which is a 100 grain, and that's rated for 2,960 feet. I have the Hornady American Whitetail. That's also a 100 grain bullet, and that's rated for 2,960 feet. And the Fusion, which I just recently heard of this. I actually saw someone else doing a video, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. So I got some. This is a 95 grain bullet, and it's rated for 2,980 feet. So I'm just going to load up one of each and just kind of compare them back to back, just to tell you which recoil is the least and which one is the most. To load this magazine, you don't have to push down and slide in like a pistol or anything. You literally just push it down. So that was the Fusion. Next is the Hornady American Whitetail. Remington. And Hornady SST are the ones with a little red Palmer tip. This is going to be the best round that I have. So we're going to start off with that one. Obviously, when I put them in here, I'm going to have to go backwards from what I first started with. So we're going to load them up and show you. And being a bolt action rifle, when you first get it, it's going to be a little sticky. But luckily, I know most Remingtons have plastic bolts. This one's actually metal, so I mean, I'm not worried about breaking it. And the scope is 3:9 by 40, which means you can magnify the scope 3 times up to 9 times. And 40 millimeter is the size of the lens on the end of the scope. And it also has to do with how much light you can see. I mean, it's a scope. It's not a great scope, but you kind of need it to see because this doesn't have iron sights or anything. And empty, the gun weighs 8.5 pounds, but I had 4 rounds in the magazine earlier, and I have this little extra round holder on the back that's holding 9. And with those, it felt closer to 9.5 to 10 pounds. So just take in consideration there's going to be a little more weight. It's not like you're holding a giant, chunk of metal or anything. It's not too bad. Alright, so the first one's the Hornady SST. Next one is the Remington core lock. Next one's the Hornady American Whitetail. And finally, the Fusion. Alright, so the SST, I felt like I had the least amount of recoil, and it's a close second between the Fusion and the Hornady American Whitetail, but I feel the Whitetail had a little bit more recoil. It's not bad, like all the rounds are still still manageable with the recoil. And the gun actually does have a Crossfire adjustable trigger system. The stock setting is 3.5 pounds, but you could go from 2.5, 3.5, or 5 pounds. I was just shooting at it with the 3.5, and that just feels perfect for me, so I'm just going to leave it there. And the recoil pad is about a half an inch, or actually a whole inch thick, and it definitely helps. It's really squishy rubber, so that helps. And as you can see, the bolt kind of hung up there. And, it's still getting broken in. When you do buy this brand new in the box, they will not give you the bolt in the gun. They'll give it to you separate. So just make sure they don't forget that. And when you go to put it in, it only will go in one way. So, don't really try to fight it. Just keep moving it around until it just slides in. Scope cover actually comes on it. It has this little lens to block out light and stuff. I don't really use that. No need for it. There's a safety on the back. And to take the bolt out, there's a little button right here. Just push that, turn it back, and the whole bolt will come right out. Which I might do a cleaning video later, just to show you how to clean it and everything. And I'm going to go over the price of all this ammo. The SSTs still has a sticker on it. Those were $31.49. The Fusion was about $18. The American Whitetail was about $22, and the Remington was also around $17-18. So it's not going to break the bank at all. And even though you can get this in bigger calibers, I still went with the 243 because it's still a decent sized round and it keeps its velocity. So I mean, like, for when a bullet actually expands, it leaves a pretty good hole coming out. So you can drop deer, elk, bear, pretty much all big game that you want. It's supposedly a varmint gun, but like I said, you can take anything you want with it. A 22 is supposed to be a varmint gun, and you can still get pretty good animals or bigger game with that. I've seen hogs getting shot with a 22. One shot and it's done. So trigger, it's like one of those little safety triggers. It has that little thing you got to push in before you could pull the trigger. And I haven't really adjusted the scope quite right yet. When I first got it out of the box, that thing was like horribly off. But I adjusted it just enough to do the video today. But actually, after the video's done, I'm gonna mess around with it a little more. It's definitely a tricky scope to figure out. And the whole penetration test, I had a 8-inch AR 500 steel target. I was going to bring it up and just for ha-has see if any of these rounds penetrated it. I've seen numerous 243s and other stuff just go right through them, but I didn't want to bring it up here and have people hear the ping sound it makes and then me get kicked out. So hopefully soon I'll find a friend's land or some other sort of spot to do a test on that. But that's pretty much all you get in the box. They don't make high capacity magazines for this, and for a new one it's about anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks. So I mean, kind of just really, you can stock up on them or just keep, you know, reloading the same one over and over. It just kind of gets annoying after a while. Alright, so that was my review of the 783. It's definitely it's my first high-powered rifle with a scope, and I love it. It's like I said, the recoil's not too bad. It's not really loud. It's, you know, it's a rifle. It's going to be a little loud, but as far as that, it's definitely it's not really a beginner gun. It can be, but if you have a younger kid or anything at home, you know, 10 to 12 years, you can probably start on this. If you can hold it up, it's pretty heavy. Not to me, but for somebody else it might be. And I definitely want to get a bipod, because while I was trying to sight the scope in, I rested it on the piece of wood I had here, but I'm still, you know, it's going all over the place, so I'm definitely going to get a bipod and see how well it shoots with that after I figure out the scope, or I might just upgrade the scope. As I zoomed in 9 times, and the target I was just shooting at is about 20 to 30 yards away, and that's all I got out of that scope. The gun itself is capable of making shots, you know, up to a mile, but definitely not with this scope. You'll be lucky to see 40, 50 yards out. Well, it depends on what you're looking at. The place I'm at right now has a pretty high backstop because it's in the woods. They just kind of dug out the whole spot and left all the high-rise back there for the backstop. And you got a bunch of trees and stuff, so I mean, it's also on a mountain, so you're going up. But that was just my little review of the Remington 783. If you have any comments or questions, just let me know.